Hey, it's me, Annalisa, with my spiritual friend. There it goes. For those of you that posted before the show went live, I'm not answering that question. I don't start answering any of the questions until I'm actually live. So I'm going to go ahead and remove it. You can repost it later, but it's for fairness of everybody else and for my time. So it's me, Annalisa, with my spiritual friend. I'm back as always. All readings and divinations are for the purposes of entertainment only. I am not a doctor, a lawyer, a therapist, or a financial advisor. If you need one of those, please seek those. Quick updates. The bear that we were looking at last week from Mara in Canada, somebody returned it. So it was excellent. It was in great shape, which was always my feeling along that it was safe. I want to tell you about my friend Georgia has a YouTube tarot reading session on Saturday nights, and you do it's $10 for one question, and 30% of those go to a donation. And she has something that she picks a different, or has everybody vote on a different. Sorry, I think I do that every week. Has a different foundation each week that she donates to. She's fantastic. I finally got to be on there last night. I really love the way she reads. I've known her for quite a while. She's based out of here in New York City. She's originally from Australia. And she reads the tarot, and she has such a lovely style of it. And she also teaches you about the cards and all of that. So I think that that's really cool. It's not just read. There's a learning aspect to it, and she has really nice energy too. So I encourage you to check her out. The link is in the description below. One other thing. I got feedback from Amal Duse, and I wanted to say, if she's here, I don't know if she's here, congratulations. She said that I had predicted that she would pass her test just barely. So she passed just barely, but she passed. And my theory is C's get degrees, right? So congratulations, Amal Duse. All righty. All right, so Clarissa Colvin, please, if you didn't repost yet, please repost your question. Hello, Danielle. Hi, Danny. Regine, hello. Welcome back, Donata. If you're new here, I'm so glad you finally found me and joined me. I always trust that the universe brings you and into my space at the perfect time. This is a really, really lovely group of people, and I always say I have the best subscribers. When I get to do private readings, I get a little bit better into your energy and your personality, and it's really, really nice just to kind of see you and meet you that way. I did do a reading for a client yesterday, and she's someone who I've been reading for about 5 years now. And she was really funny because she goes, sometimes you say these like random things and I think, no way that's going to happen. And then I keep notes and I look back at them and she's like, and they happen. That's so weird. So if you get something here and you're like, no way, just hold the space, because maybe it doesn't make sense now, but it might make sense down the road. All right. And like and subscribe and hit the bell and all of that stuff, so you get notified when I go live. I really want to I watched this really great interview. It's like just earlier. Maria Menounos has a YouTube thing. You can just look her up. And it was she was interviewing John Edward, who's the Long Island, or he's out in Long Island. He's a pretty well-known, pretty established psychic medium. And I've had the ability to see him in small groups out in Long Island, and he's really, really spot on. He's very, very talented and pretty down to earth. Anyway, so it's really good if you can find it. I didn't link it, but all right, Lily, can I tell you what is in store for you next month? Do you mean August or September? Because it's the very beginning of August, so I just want to see. Okay, September works. And only post your question once. Please no chit chat back and forth. Last time was a total disaster. I apologize, but there was a lot of little chitty chats back and forth. And then I was doing my thing with the teddy bear. So I lost a whole bunch of stuff and it just became a disaster. And KK was awesome. So, yeah. All right, so Lily, September. Let's look at September for Lily. I like to hold my rocks when I do this. So if you're wondering like what I'm grabbing, moving things around, reorganizing. I'm hearing shining star is the very first thing I'm seeing. So it feels like whatever you're doing, it feels like I'm not saying you necessarily ice skate, but it's like feeling like the way they're showing me is like someone standing in the middle of an ice skating rink, and like at the very end, you know, when they do their little pose and then all the like flowers get thrown out, that's what I'm seeing. So it's probably metaphorical. I don't necessarily think you're actually an ice skater unless you are, but it just feels like shining star. Like this is your moment. This is your month to like, there's something happening coming up where you're really going to be shining and standing in your own and feeling like you're finally recognized for all of the hard work that you've put into it. No crying. There's no crying in this room unless they're tears of joy. Just one time is all you have to post it. I promise I get to it. Okay. School's starting. Okay. And you're very nervous about it. It just feels like all the hard work, everything that you've put into it is really going to you're going to do well. You're going to do fine. You're going to get the recognition that you've really deserved and feeling like you're just really kind of hitting your stride. So you're going to be okay. Damien, if you're here, hello. Welcome. I'm gonna, so I don't know if he's on here. I haven't like rolled through here yet, but a friend of mine from high school who's just a phenomenal human being. He started a foundation called the Ability Center. He's out of Milwaukee. They just rolled out for Bradley Beach, making it completely accessible to people and wheelchairs and everything else. Like he made this huge fundraiser happen where they've made Bradley Beach accessible all the way to the water for wheelchairs. It's fantastic. So if you ever want to donate somewhere, his foundation is amazing. He has been like working his butt off his entire life to just make life accessible for those that are not necessarily, I don't want to say able-bodied because they could do it, right? They just have a different way of doing it. Since I met him when we were 14 years old, he is a light among lights. He really, really, really is a fantastic person. So if you ever check out the Ability Center, it's out of Milwaukee. He really has really, really big dreams, and I really believe that they are all going to happen for him. So, but check him out because he's a rock star, Damien. Okay, sorry. I had to plug that. I am all about building up and celebrating other people and really showcasing other people, and because it really doesn't take away from anybody else to share about all the wonderful things and people that are out there. And like my friend Georgia is a rock star reader. I love her. I adore her. She's a fantastic soul. So check those people out. You won't be missing out. Okay, Lily, sorry. Sharita, you're up next. Will you become wealthy? So I literally hear wealthy in your own right. So to me, it means, I feel like, so I'm trying to think tiers because wealth is really subjective, right? So I do feel like wealthy and rich in soul, in mind, and finding a really lovely balance. And I feel wealth and happiness and joy. I feel comfortable with money. So when I think of wealth, I think of like buckets of money, right? I think of like you've got rich and you've got nouveau riche and then you've got like wealthy, right? Like the oh shoot, now like all their names are escaping me. The Rockefellers, right? So I mean that's sort of disgustingly rich in a way if you counted it in today's, but I feel really comfortable in doing well with money. I don't feel like billionaire status, but certainly I do feel millions. So millionaire, like I feel like I get to the point where I am really comfortable. I'm able, I'm able to retire and do all of those things, and not when I'm, 70, but I feel like at a decent age to really then enjoy life. And the way they're making me feel it is like finding the golden ticket in a way, like finding that thing that's my niche, that's my where I can really build and sort of do well and be known. MD, hello. Okay, so you said, when will my son's father become an active part of your son's life? Is your son 4 or 5 years old? Because then this is how because I'm not looking at the answer yet. I'm just gonna say what I'm feeling. So I don't know if it's that your son is 4 or 5 years old, or if it's in another 4 or 5 years. And it doesn't feel active to the way that you want him to be active. It feels to the capacity that he's capable of being there on a more steady basis. It feels like something happens where in his life where he sort of recognizes that he needs to sort of be more of a participant. Is he coming up to the level that you really, really want or hope? I don't necessarily feel that, but I do feel like becoming more a part, but it takes a while. Clarissa, my internet was weird earlier today too. Okay, so I'm gonna leave MD with that. I was just seeing if there was an answer. Hi, Am. Hi, Race B. Sorry, I was just trying to see if, well, whatever. Okay, hello, Tracy Lynn. Jamila, will the new job I am manifesting this year bring me fulfillment and alignment in the area of interest? I literally got this very quickly. It feels like yes, but not in the way you think. So it feels like this job is like a stepping stone into the job that you're actually manifesting. So the next job that you get, it manifests into the job that you're manifesting. So, like they talk about bridge of incidents. So you'll get it and you'll feel like, wait, this isn't quite right. It doesn't feel like what I really wanted, or something's not quite lining up. Don't get disappointed because it leads into the one that you actually want. And if you want to know about bridge of incidents, Joseph Alai, A-L-A-I, he has a channel on here. He kind of talks about bridge of incidents. Blue Storm, I did have a good week. Any suggestions, especially career and finance-wise? Things have been slow to progress. Excuse me. Just gonna take a glass of drink of water. I heard this is like a roundabout way that it's going to happen. So I heard ticking time bomb, and it was like everything kind of going to blow up first before it rebuilds itself. So it feels like it kind of might feel like it's falling apart, but it's actually falling together. So it feels like it looks like everything's kind of falling and all the pieces are falling. And, like if you think of like building blocks or whatever just kind of like falling into a pile of rubble, but then it coming back together. So, and it feels like by January, it's sort of better and more settled out, but it just feels like it's kind of, it feels shaky until then. So it may seem that it looks terrible, but it gets better. And it's not about direction or guidance. It just feels like sort of everything kind of culminating and happening at once. And it's like, how is this good? But it moves because it feels like by January I'm in a better space, and it's kind of like rebuilding and actually building better and stronger than I was. Alessandra, I'm guessing you want a general reading. I'm just going to give Danielle W because hers is right after yours, and it's just a yes, absolutely, hands down, came out yes with that. Your disability review will go in your favor. It feels like there's like just a slight delay ahead of time, and then we sign it and it's done. It's like no big deal. It makes sense. Okay, Alessandra, I'm back at you now. Sometimes I do those yes, no questions first just because it's like very quick. I don't have to think about it at all, or not think, but like I don't have to connect, and it's just, I just hear it. Have you been working on your own psychic abilities and connections? Because I heard, this is what I heard, and this is why I'm moving in that direction of this, is they go, she wants to be in tune with everything. And then it's like, here, like, I have like a thing where I can't stand a ton of input at once, like around me. So like if I've got the TV on, my husband's got music on, or the kids have the TV on, my husband's got music on. And then they're like, somebody's stomping down the hall playing an instrument or like singing. And then another kid's talking to me. I'm like, I can't, it's like way massive input overload. And it feels like I'm trying to open up my abilities, and I'm like, all right, bring it in. And so you're getting it in like every form and direction. And it's just like input overload. And they're sort of like, just like slow it down and try and not feel like it all has to happen at once. That really there's like this beauty in the slow cooker method, like the putting something in a Dutch oven and like throwing it in the oven and letting it like just cook low and slow for a while, because you get richer flavors and you get deeper messages and things like that. So it's like that feeling of like, I had this all when I was a kid, I shut it down, and now I want it all back at once. I don't know where I'm going with this, but that's like that feeling I get. This is Alessandra. Just going to see if you can validate any of that. Yes, you are. Okay, good. So yeah, so it's like, just relax a little bit about it and like enjoy the journey and the process of it, because it'll grow and it'll grow. It's like developing a whole new language for yourself, right? So you're creating a vocabulary, then you're creating like the verbs and the nouns and the pronouns and all the connectors, and you're creating then sentences and paragraphs. And like, it's like if someone sat you down and gave you a foreign language book and said, here you go, and you're like, oh, that doesn't work, right? You start out, when you first start a foreign language, with vocabulary. You start out really small and you build from there. And that's sort of like what they're saying. It's like, just relax and allow the process and accept and allow that it's a little bit slower at first, and then it can start moving in leaps and bounds. Good. I'm glad that made a lot of sense, Alessandra. Okay. Welcome, Damien. I don't know. We'll figure out what you're supposed to hear, but I did just plug your foundation, because I really think the world of you, and I think you're a fantastic soul and being. Who knows? Maybe someone will be, watch this and connect in with you then. All right, let's see. Danielle W. Regine, can you please tell me how my financial situation is looking between now and December? Sure. Thank you for the double pleases. So they said it's a bit rocky about the end of October into November, and then it's like kind of it's good. So I feel like I'm okay. I'm like maybe just like writing the budget until then. It gets a little bit rocky, but I figure out how to work it out so I don't feel like I'm like at a loss or that I can't pay my bills or anything like that. And then it works itself out. I don't know if like a new client is coming in or a new something is coming, but it feels like at that point something new comes in and sort of like re-energizes the financial status in the business. Hello, Alma Dilse. Congratulations. Yay. Evolves Dog 88. Can I have a message from George? I don't know. I will see if I can connect in with George. Sound good? Was George a bit of a cut up? Because I literally just heard George is not here tonight. Like, but I feels like, you know, like I don't know if you're old enough for this, maybe not. The Pee Wee Herman movie where he's like, he does all those like funny voices at the hotel, like when they're in the movie, and he's like, Mr. Herman, paging Mr. Herman. Sorry. But that's like that joke kind of feeling I got. Does that connect in with George? You remember that? Okay. Does George does George was George like kind of like, it feels like almost not taking this very seriously. Thank you very much. Thank you, Clarissa. He feels like he doesn't take it very seriously. Like he just thinks it's all kind of funny. Like he knows it's possible, but it's just feeling that way about life. Does that make sense? And he doesn't come in, I feel like taller energy, but he's not really showing me what he looks like. He's very funny. Was he taller? And again, he's not showing me really what he looks like. It's like weird. I feel like I would have dressed kind of like t-shirt jeans kind of guy, more laid back. And he's showing me no shoes. Short and stout. Well, he's not anymore. Would he have joked about it? I don't know. Like there's just like, I feel taller. And no shoes. Like maybe would have been like a deadhead fish kind of person. Okay, white t-shirts and jeans, because that's what I felt like. T-shirt, jeans, no shoes, and I feel like maybe the genre deadhead, like fish fan. Just like his energy feels very intelligent. Like he reminds me of my friends who crazy smart, but like atheist, like believe in like all these crazy science things, but also atheist. Like whip smart, would have just like you said something and he could like pull it out of his like head, like just facts, whatever, data, names. He's fine is the feeling I get. I'm fine. Like he says it's way easier over there. Lots of trivial knowledge. So maybe it's not religious is the feeling I'm getting, because it's like just not into all of that. And he says it's way easier over there. I feel like he was really sensitive when he was here, very empathic. Why do I keep doing this with my hands? Did he do something weird like this with his hands? Was there something with his palms? I feel like he would have like said something funny into your ear just to make you laugh in front of everybody. Like if it was like a serious situation, because he literally just like came in, said something to my ear. I can't make out what it is. Said something to my ear, like sort of like show me that like, yeah, I would have done this. Like said something really funny, like in a situation where we shouldn't be laughing. Like say we're at a funeral or a conference or something, and I would have like just like said something just to like totally try and crack you up. Wrong. He would do this with his hands a lot. Okay. That's all. That's all that is a connection and a validation for you. So he's okay. There's no big message. I feel like there's an understanding of his passing and like sort of an acceptance of it. He's around. He's still like that energetic, free being. And it's just that feeling of like it being very easy over there. Like this world was very heavy for him. Energetically, it was very heavy. I feel like it was very heavy on his emotionally. It took a toll on him. So I'm going to leave you with that just so I can keep moving on. I can't spend too much time in mediumship because then I just can't get to everybody and in a timely manner. Danny 333, do I see anything developing between you and Tom between now and December, or is he not interested? He says one thing and his actions say another. I'm so confused. I don't how he really feels about me. All right, can I go from a non-psychic standpoint, just from I dated a lot of guys standpoint, and I was friends with a lot of guys. If he's into you, you'll know he's into you. And like this is like not even the psychic part of it. And if he's playing games, that's just his personality. He's going to play games, and it's not going to get any better. There's one guy I dated in Austin, sort of dated. I don't know if you'd call it dating. And I'd be like, "Oh, what have you been up to?" And the answer was always, a little this, a little that. Like I never got a straight answer from him. So I literally just took the relationship as it was like not going to ever be serious. And I stopped worrying about it. I just like, spent the time with them. So it's just, people let you know who they are and where they're at. And if they're really into you, they don't hesitate to tell you they're really into you. So no, I don't see it forming into a relationship, and I don't see it moving in that direction, mostly not because he won't string you along, because you just get tired of his shit. That's my psychic side of it. But the non-psychic side of it is like, they let you know, like that movie, He's Just Nothing Into You. Like they let you know, no offense, men, but you're not that complicated, really. Sorry. I mean, you can be very complicated and emotionally very complex, and obviously very thoughtful and sweet and kind and smart and all of those things. But when a guy likes you, they let you know. And when they don't, and they are too nice to let you know, they do a whole bunch of stupid things to try and let you know without actually letting you know. And it's a gigantic mind fuck. What is the future of my connection with Andrew? KK. KK also sent me a validation that what I said about her getting the letter would happen. So I'm just telling everybody else that happened. Okay. Future with Andrew. They said it's nice, it's casual, but it doesn't go anywhere long term. So it feels like a short-term thing, but it feels like a learning lesson and a step forward and moving forward and sort of understanding your own space and boundaries. And they said sort of like coming into your own with it. Just because a relationship doesn't work out or doesn't happen the way we want it to, whether it's a short term while we're dating or a marriage or whatever, all is not lost. There are lessons learned and growth gained. So try and find the silver lining in it. When I'm like, I just don't really feel it moving in that direction. And again, I am reading a timeline, right? So if everything is specifically the way it is and moves in that same direction from here on, then that's what I see happening. You can shift things if you don't like what I say. You can change the energy. If I say like, oh, I see the relationship working out, and then you come back to me, you're like, well, it didn't work out. I'm like, well, how much time did you spend on it not working out? Like you're kind of moving it in that direction if you're constantly worried and panicked about it. The stuff that we sort of like let go and we're cool about, it always just like happens with ease, right? Happily ever after. What spirit needs you know, especially about your current relationship? Um, um, I hate saying this. Does this person tend to lean towards being narcissistic? Because I heard run. So I'm not telling you to leave. You always are in charge and responsible for all of your actions. It's called empowerment. But is that a possibility that your person you're in a relationship with is a narcissist? KK, did you end or did you close the list? Okay, cool. So Juliet, the list is closed. I don't know where KK did it at, but if you will come back next week, I would really appreciate it. Okay, cool. Happily ever after. Oh, true. He puts his needs for, okay. Okay. So you write it out as long as you want to. When I say that, it feels like things probably won't change. I'm happy to be proved wrong. I'm happy for you to come back here and be like, you were wrong. We're here. We're together. Oh, stupid psychic. I'm super happy for you to do that. But when I heard it that quickly, it feels like there's a reason for that. And I asked. And so, set boundaries, sort of just like kind of pay attention to things. And it's okay to be understanding. It sucks when somebody loses their job, but you also don't have to be the brunt of the on the receiving end of all of the negativity. You've already given him a second chance. So if I heard run that quickly, that's all I'm going to say. Miriam, career advice. This is what I just heard. I don't know why. I'm just going to say what I heard. So they said, you're looking for a new job. Your current one doesn't suit you well. Can you validate that? You're welcome. It doesn't mean that something's bad is foreseen happily ever after. It just means that behavior is not going to change. So you're going to end up constantly feeling like you're responsible for this other person's happiness. That's not fair. Okay, so yes. So the feeling I get with this is actually that you're going to take what you learn from where you're at, and I see it being like starting your own thing, being more of an entrepreneur. Or what's the other word for it? Where you're a contract worker. So you couldn't do no, there's a different word for it. It's not contract. It's I I can't think what it is, but that's what I see you moving into, is doing kind of your own thing. So it's either that you uh freelancer, that's what I'm looking for. But it's like your own thing and not working for somebody else. So sort of like setting it up. And I actually see that being much more successful and doing it for yourself, because I feel like you're not given the autonomy that you deserve, and you're sort of not taken seriously in the knowledge and your skills that you have. Yes, freelancer. So I'm going to leave you with that. Dulce, I am good. I am good. Leon wants a general reading. They said, I see you're doing better this week. They show me you running in like a little hamster wheel. They're like, you've been running the rat race, you've been running the rat race, and finally worn yourself out. And now it's time to recover and sort of allow the universe to do its work and sort of receive. I actually feel like you're clairaudient yourself. It may not sound like voices outside of your head, but it's like sort of like this inner knowing, inner conversation with yourself. And once you step out of the place of worry and fear and you're sort of exhausted, when you're praying and you're talking to your guides or God or whatever, when you're in that fear and anxiety space, you can't hear them clearly, but they're showing you sort of in this like exhausted state where it's like you can sort of allow and just like you can't do anything else but listen. So they're like sort of saying like you're in actually a really good space. So it's not about being defeated, it's about being exhausted enough to sort of like allow. Can I ask you, the roof is around $10,000 because I heard 10,000. Google user. It means chill and listen and let the universe do its work. That's what it means. It's sort of like there isn't any direction or job for you to do. It's just to relax and sort of like go with the flow and see what happens. More like 20,000. I heard 10. So I feel like it's less than what you think. So it feels like it wouldn't necessarily be worth it to claim it, or it's not covered. Is it on like the corner of a roof, like the edge of the roof? Because it doesn't feel like the center. They're showing me on the edge. So I don't know if like a tree hit or something, but it's like the edge of the roof. No, you didn't, Stephanie. Yes. So just chill and let it happen. Okay. It actually feels like it's going to be less than you think it is. And it would be better to not claim it, because and the reason why I feel like is like down the road, it feels like it would create a snafu if you tried to claim it. And then even if you didn't have them cover it. So it just feels like, I don't know, I could be wrong. And I feel like the car could last a little bit longer. Like I feel like buying a new car in like a year. I don't know if that makes any sense. I don't know who's next, Clarissa. I'll get there when I get there. Just remember your order is different than my order. So was that Google user I think I was talking to? You're welcome. Of course, all your decisions are your own. This is, again, for entertainment purposes only. All right, Alma Dulce. I've been seeing the number patterns 1771, 711, 117. What might this mean? I always use, and I say this again, I always use the numbers of Sherry Horn, by the way. Thank you for last week. I mean, for the donation. Sorry. I always use Doreen Virtue's like little angel numbers. That's sort of like where my jumping off point for what I look at when I look at numbers. So I can give you 17. It's like sort of around the same 7 combinations of 1s and 7s. Angels applaud you for staying positive and optimistic. They say that your optimism is warranted and your affirmative thoughts are coming true. Keep up the good work as you're on the right path. So it's a validation that you're on the right path. And any combinations of 1s and 7s will sort of tell you something along those lines when you look at her book. Again, she's a born-again Christian. And if you're Christian, I'm not knocking on you. But a lot of people in the New Age community got upset because she had built this whole empire on the New Agey teachings. And then all of a sudden was like, that's all of like not of Jesus and not the right way. And then like went on to this other New Age and like denounced everything she had. And from the New Age aspect, people were like, what does this mean? And I sort of said, well, just because she's moved on her journey doesn't mean that there isn't some sort of teaching lesson validity for that there wasn't truth in what she was teaching. She's just on her own path. So, okay. Stephanie, could you get a general reading? Sure. Rochelle, welcome back. It's been a long time. Rochelle, you bounced out on me for a long time. I thought you were mad about your last reading. So welcome back. I'm glad, because I'm like thinking about like when I first started and I had like very little subscribers and you're like, I'll hang with you to the end. And I was like, oh, she didn't, but you're back. You didn't give up on me. All right, Stephanie, general reading. So they said, you're always trying to get your ducks in a row. You're always trying to get everything organized. And they're showing me like you like stacking papers and like everything ducks in a row. And like, can I, not literal ducks in a row is not what they're showing me, but it's like sort of like always wanting to know what's next, always wanting to know how everything is. And like sort of being so goal oriented and focused on like the next step, checking off the list that you're like, sort of like missing some of the really cool details that life and enjoyment that life has to offer you. And they're sort of like, just relax and slow down. You're going to hit your goals. You're going to hit your mark. Just try to enjoy it and try to breathe through it. I don't know if you're 25, but they're showing me the number 25. So I don't know what that significance is. Can you validate any of this, Stephanie? I don't know if I typed your name. Oh, we missed having you here, Rochelle. You're 31. Okay. So it's sort of like just relax. And just like sort of like enjoy it more and relax more about not needing like that idea of like, I need to be here at this time. And if I'm not there, then I've just failed it all, is sort of this societal belief system we're sort of instilled with. Like if we're not at this thing, and there's such arbitrary goals that like are set and ideas that are set. And really, I mean, I remember talking about this with a girlfriend of mine who I grew up with. And, she was still in school and I was already in a nurse, and she's like, but you're here. And I was like, so what? so what if I figured out what I wanted to do and you're still in this? Like there's an importance for you to be where you're at when you're there. And so what? Like there is no race, there is no end of the line. There is no finish line. It is just an experience. And just try to enjoy it and find the beauty in all of it and know that you'll be exactly where you need to be when you're there. It's like that idea that have I figured out my path? Am I on my journey? You're on it. You're on your path. You're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And you will be moved in the directions of what it is, like some people are meant to be doing these really well-known in the public eye type things and other people aren't. And but then that's okay. That doesn't make it less of an experience. It's just your experience. Okay, Rochelle, after I said hello, hello, hello. So you said, please help me know what will happen between Dane and I. I was going to type Dane and I instead of Rochelle. Thanks. And I put Rochelle. So I'm hearing contented and happy. I feel like moving in together, like that we live together, we have a shared space. I don't know if it's the long haul. Oh, this is weird. So it might not be the long haul, but it is a long haul. So it feels like a long-lasting relationship. We have a shared space together. It feels very nice and calm, and I don't see chaos erupting. Though I do feel like Dane internalizes a little bit and may have a habit of internalizing and blowing up. I don't feel screaming and yelling, but just like like a kettle boiling, and like all of a sudden, like you hear the rumbling underneath, but you can't see it, and then you hear, and it just like starts to blow. It feels like that isn't something that will be a habit that lasts. It feels like sort of like kind of going, all right, we can, like providing space for conversation and for communication, so it doesn't end up being that way. But it just feels like that's where I tend to be initially, but that I can grow from it and then I move on from that. You're very welcome, Rochelle. You're welcome, Stephanie. Urban Lady, what does August look like for you? When I first saw your name, I keep seeing like, I know you have a garden. So like, I feel like full disclosure, I already know that, but I just feel like that's really taking like, it feels like consciously moving myself off of all of the things that are going on around me that I have no control over, like what's going on with the schools and what's going on with social media, and like sort of like pulling myself off of that and focusing on what I have control over. And like just like putting my energy in that, because I need to find a space of calm and a space of not having so much anxiety and stress about everything, and sort of just focusing on my garden. And I see your kids and all of that, but like just that's like, this is what I have control over. This is what I can do. This is what I can manage. And just like sort of focusing on that and like just blocking out the rest of everything. That's what August feels like to me for you. Yeah, it just feels like really focusing on that. And like, man, I can't, like, I'm in some potting group, my town, like for schooling. I don't know that I can do that because, man, I cannot deal with all of everybody's stuff. I'm like, too many cooks in the kitchen kind of thing where I'm like, it's just not like I can't do. And then I'm like, and I don't want my teachers to get sick because I love my kids' teachers and I want them to be healthy. So like, I'm kind of like, maybe we're just going to do it online and I'm cool with that. And my kids will really enjoy school when they go back. Probably not. Man, y'all, let's just call it the shit sucks. Whew. Okay. So basically, like what I did was I turn off all notifications for groups and stuff, and I only check in when I need to check in because I can't handle so much of people's stuff. Like people complain about so many things that just are. All right, that's my little vent. All right, Dulcie B. There's a lot of sweeties on here. Alma Dulce B. Okay. Are there any messages from your husband for your husband from his father, Guy? Interesting. Would he have passed from a stroke or a brain tumor or something else? Because I immediately got a headache or head trauma, but I immediately got a headache on this side of my head. This is my left side. Hi, Vicky's Intuitive Tarot. Okay. So the other thing is that when you have really high blood pressure or blood pressure issues, it can cause headaches. Did he have headaches? Because I got pulled to this. Or do you have headaches? So that's the only other thing I can think of. And do you remember that show? This is kind of old, so I don't know if you do, but not really, or he didn't say that. Okay. Do you have headaches? The other thing that I keep getting shown is, do you remember that show, Sanford and Son? Does anybody remember that show, Sanford and Son? Does that show my age? And the old man who's like the dad, he's just like really kind of like ornery and stubborn and funny, like ornery in a way that's really funny. You have headaches. Is that guy's personality to be very like just kind of like the way my grandfather had, he was laid back. Yeah, but he would make like it. So this guy was laid back. He wasn't like, but he would just like say things like where it was just like, I don't know how to explain it. Like my grandfather, when he was in the hospital, he had colon cancer and he was having surgery and he lit up a cigarette. He smoked so much. He lit up a cigarette and the nurse was like, Mr. So-and-so, you were in the hospital for cancer. And he's like, I didn't have it in this end. Like, it's sort of that feeling of like having a joke for like the stupidity of the world. And really that man, like he lived way longer than he should have. I might not be connecting in with him right now, but it's just, that's like the feeling I get. It's just like this man who's like thinner, a little bit shorter, and just has this really funny, like always has these one-liners, like just really funny. Pervy jokes. There you go. He said he felt like he shouldn't be there that long anyway. So it's that feeling of like surviving way past when I really should have. Look up. I don't remember the guy being chubby. I just keep seeing like a thinner face and shorter. Was it the feeling that he lived longer than he really should have? Because that's the feeling I get. And what's with the legs? Did he have issues because of his diabetes with his legs? Because I'm like rubbing my legs and I actually feel like I'm almost like sitting in a wheelchair. I don't know if that's the case, but like my shins, I feel like have issues on them. Did he have neuropathies? Um, I don't feel any huge, like, I'm like, what's your message for your son? And it's just sort of that feeling of like, yeah. Um, I feel like that feeling like butting heads of like, not always seeing eye to eye, butting heads. Um, and I feel like just emotionally not able to like really connect in really with anybody. Like the whole emotional bond was hard, but it doesn't mean he didn't love him. It was just like sort of this like weird functionally dysfunctional relationship. Right. When I understand it was heart failure, but it still feels like living past when I should have. So either got a second chance or like was like the doctors would have said, like, we're surprised he lived this long with this condition. Like, that's a surprise. They can be identical and still butt heads. Yeah. So it's like that feeling of like we butted heads, but it was like functionally dysfunctional. So like they're both emotionally, because they were showing me that like he's showing me that he's emotionally like not really like able to deal with emotions or like wanting to be really emotional or understanding other, and I feel like your husband's the same way, and just like you said, identical. And he's showing me like we would butt heads. A lot of people when they butt heads it's because they're the same, right? So we'd butt heads but we're functionally dysfunctional, like we loved each other, we got along, like, but it's just that feeling of like we could butt heads. Stubborn. Did he also smoke? Because he keeps showing me smoking. Maybe it's weed, I don't know, but he keeps showing me smoking. Yes, this is him. I'm connecting in with him. So there's no huge message. It's just it's around, and I don't. Again, it doesn't feel like I don't understand why he died or is he okay. There's no like words left unsaid. It's just he's around. He still sees what's going on. Do you have a son? Because he's showing me a son. And then you knew. Okay. And then I do have to move on because I have other people and I can't, it's the mediumship. I love to be able to do it, but it's harder to do in this sort of sense because it does take a little bit more time up. Nicola Bernard, do you have any messages from Spirit? Nicola, I heard very clearly just now, speak your truth. So it feels like you aren't being a very good advocate for yourself, that you're worried about rocking the boat and like not wanting to upset anybody or make anybody feel uncomfortable. And it's sort of like you can do it without like making it, like I don't feel like you don't need to necessarily like blow up the whole room, but it's just there are ways to go about being better advocates for ourselves and setting boundaries and saying no and giving yourself permission to say no. That is what came through extremely quickly and clearly for you. Tracy Lynn. He said, how do you see your future? You need to quit limiting yourself. You need to quit, like they're saying, like, see it bigger, be bigger. Don't feel like you don't deserve, or because other people don't have, you shouldn't want, that kind of thing. They're sort of like go big. Cause I do feel like you do manifesting And you sort of are like, I don't know if you have a vision board or you're kind of looking at the law of attraction, which, by the way, I do believe both in the law of attraction and manifesting. But manifesting to me is like really creating, and law of attraction feels more like no matter what we put out, good and bad, it kind of all comes back to us. But and like the state of being and stuff like that. But manifesting, you don't have to be happy to manifest. You don't have to be positive or in some vibrational state. You just have to like know and trust that it can happen. And you like, again, that guy Joseph Ali, ALAI, ally is how you say it, ally. ALAI is really a good one to check out. Melody Soter, can you tell me if my thyroid, that's the problem, or anything else I should be concerned with? All right, I'll do a scan of your body quickly. Nicola, you're welcome. You're welcome, Tracy Lynn. You're welcome, Dulcie. I just want to see how I'm scanning. Melody. So it's interesting. I don't necessarily feel a thyroid issue. I feel a block in your throat chakra, which is your expressive communication. This is how you sort of set your boundaries, right? It's how you speak for yourself and you advocate for yourself. And I feel like it's, so from a perspective of where this would have come from, it feels like screaming at mom, trying to get mom to hear me, and like mom sort of like being like, this is how it's going to be. And like not really ever really hearing you or receiving you. And it just was like in this weird, like tunnel vision way of mothering. And it feels like I'm constantly trying to get people to hear me and nobody ever hears me. So learning to set boundaries becomes very important. I don't know if there's a enmeshment in your family where it's sort of like that. Look up enmeshment, where it's just sort of like overstepping, overreaching, not really respecting your boundaries. Is your hair like, do you feel like your hair has been falling out? Because I actually feel like there might be like a biotin, which is like what a vitamin B7, I think it is, deficiency. I am not a doctor, so I cannot diagnose. It is always good to check with a medical doctor on all of these things, but that is my energetic feeling on what I pick up. Okay. And there is anxiety there. Oh, you guys, I found this really lovely person. Her name is a holistic psychologist, and she has a YouTube channel. I'll put the thing on there. She also has Instagram. You should really check her out. She's all about like self-healing, and she's sort of like, she's fully licensed, and she has a shingle. So she's really fantastic. I would really, really, really check her out. I liked her a lot. I found her and I'm like, now I have somebody to recommend to you guys. Priscilla, what will your next boyfriend be like? Smart and funny is the first two things I hear. Smart and funny. You will have to set boundaries. Sort of like, like kind of those smart people that sometimes don't recognize that other people are smart. Sorry, Sky. Sorry, I'm laughing because I'm like, I know they're gonna leave. You just need to say like, I'm closing on the house. You have to leave. I don't know what to tell you. Like, there's what's going on is like there's sort of procrastinators and reluctance to accept change and movement. But they'll leave. They may be hustling at the last minute, but they'll leave. Vicky's intuitive tarot will be happy when Wiki and I get married. You will, but you'll butt heads a lot. So there it's like an uphill battle with communication and sort of finding your own space and your own acceptance of where you are and finding peace where you're at, like with each other. Um cool kid lovable. Uh, I'm at yours with your mom, Carolyn. Just give me a few minutes on that, just because I want to try and just answer some of the straight questions, because it does take a little bit longer with mediumship. And if I get stuck on too many mediumship ones, I'm going to lose some questions. So if you'd be patient with me, I would really appreciate that. And I'm going to hang on, let me just write this down. And then I will come back to her. Okay. I don't know why I keep seeing red hair with her. Did she have red hair or do you have red hair? And respiratory issues. I'm just going to write this down. Respiratory, shortness of breath, respiratory. So I'd put it somewhere, something with like heart, lungs, breast issue. Donata, I don't feel like it'll be soon. So I feel like it's for you to see G. Said, what, I see G anytime soon? I feel like I see him once in like 2 months, and then that's it. Like, it doesn't feel like a really strong connection. Emily, you are not too late for a general reading. So the very first thing I heard was, how do you feel about love? And so I'm like, well, is love a command? They're like, no, it's sort of like, how does she feel about the idea of love, the idea of things, and then sort of understanding that life is all about perspective. And so when we have one perspective, like when I was much younger, I would say, like, I can totally see myself being a mom, but I don't necessarily see myself being married. And I have friends like this too. Like, it's just whatever. So I wasn't ever really looking for marriage. Partnership, yes, but whatever. So it's the feeling of like, what's your perspective on it? And then understand that it sort of has to like, is it realistic? It's like everything in life is perspective. And it's that feeling of like, not having an idea set in stone about the way something has to be will lend you to moving with the flow of things a little bit easier and acceptance a little bit easier, and not feeling like I'm always hitting up against a wall and it's not working out when really it is working out. It's just perspective. Like, someone emailed me today and she had this breakup and was really upset. And I was like, well, I never saw him. I think I did a reading on this on the thing. And I said, the thing is, because she was like, well, I said, I felt like he was this dark, whatever. And she's like, well, he's not as bad as these other guys. And I said, so then look at it like, instead of feeling like I'm being rejected, look at it like, okay, look, then you've learned. Like, you didn't pick somebody as bad as the other ones this time. Like, he's still not great, but like, it's an improvement. And like, you get out before there's too much damage, like, it's not really like you're improving, you're growing, you're healing. So it's sort of like changing your perspective on things. And understanding that if it doesn't have to fit totally like this, and it doesn't always have to be exactly like this, then you sort of like leave room for a little bit easier, more accepting experience and accepting of yourself too. Sorry, I'm just trying to find my space again. Spiritual seeker. Hi, Virginia. Okay. I'm going to hold on some of the mediumship readings. So, and it's not personal. I'm writing it down here so I don't forget. Grandpa Moises. Manya Manj. I feel I'm getting the number 32. So I don't know how old you are, but something about 28 as well. 28 and 32. Devry. I get if you asked if you and your life partner are relocating next year. I do get a yes, and I feel like it's in April, May. So that would be like late spring. As you know, summer doesn't really start till June 23rd. So let me check with 54. What is the significance of 32 then? Why would that be popping for me? Did something happen at 32? And is a birthday on the 28th? That's why there's a difference between number 28 and 32. I know that there's a delay, but I'm going to have to keep moving. And I'll come back and look and see what you said. Launa Shakur, will my grandbaby be carried to term? I get 38 weeks. So yeah, that's term. Let us know when you're a new grandma or a grandma again. Kimmy J, how's my son and daughter? Have they visited Gabriel, their new nephew? Oh. Hang on. I keep seeing the color green around Gabriel. Does that make sense? The color green? Is his room green? Is his crib color green? Like there's something very green around him. And I feel like he may have reflux issues. And yes, I do feel like visiting, and I feel like this is what they're showing me that's around him. Wait, hang on. Moving. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Spiritual sequel of 32 wasn't for you. That was for Lana. Hang on, let me see who that was for. It wasn't for green eyes. Okay, that's it. That's all. That's the validation thing. I mean, there's something green there. Just the green is coming out. So they're with him and they're around him, but I actually feel like they're doing more around your other kids. Oh, Mon. I know it takes a long time to get to you. Liz, I haven't gotten to you yet. I promise. All right. Well, I guess Manya does not hang out that long. I know you have to wait a long time, but they are free and it takes a while to get through. And I'm kind of rolling through these quicker than I normally do. All right. I was hoping to like kind of figure out what that meant, but breakthrough girl, spirit message for you. Welcome happily ever after. I mean, like for being new. How feels the about me? How does Cheryl Ibanez, how does John? Okay, so let me do breakthrough girl. It just wants a message. And then Cheryl, and then Shaheen. Breakthrough girl, are you, they said your third eye is opening up nicely, and I actually feel a little dizzy. So are you having dizziness lately? If it's not literal, I feel like I need to work on grounding and sort of finding balance. Like I've been trying to open up spiritually and I'm really doing that, but I'm not like also finding the balance of being grounded. Does that make sense to you? Perfect. So for grounding the energy, so you're not like taking off everywhere, like now, if it's not too god awful hot outside for where you're at, I mean, I say it like as if I'm from living in New Jersey, right? So it's warm weather here, but depending on what hemisphere you're in, it may not be and where you're located. So if the weather is accommodating, and if it is possible, go walk outside barefoot, go sit in the grass, go for a walk in the woods. Just, obviously if it's safe to walk outside barefoot, like, don't go walk in the woods and not prepare yourself for ticks or whatever. But go spend time in nature. That's like a really good way to ground. The other thing is like have plants and stuff around. Visualize. An easy visualization is seeing tree roots come up out of the ground and wrap around your legs and sort of like anchor you into Mother Earth. I do a visualization for my clients before the reading. They visualize a white light coming down and then going, out their arms, out their hands, out their feet. And when it goes out their feet, it goes deep down into the center of Mother Earth and it holds you perfectly balanced between heaven and earth. So the light comes up through your crown chakra and down, and it will sort of balance all of your chakras as you do that too. So hopefully that's helpful for you. Happily ever. Oh, sorry. I read for you already. Cheryl Ibanez. I hope I said that right. So I feel like he feels okay about you, but I also feel like there's a lot of anxiety and like fear on both ends of like fear of abandonment, fear of attachment. Like there's just all this push and pull. So it's like both of you feeling uncertain of your positions. But I also feel like he's sort of like not energetically and emotionally attached in. So it's that feeling of like not really getting where you're coming from, not really understanding. Um, it may be a difficult relationship if you choose to pursue it further and move further into it. It just feels like and that can also be towards like needing to like sort of heal some of the stuff within yourself instead of expecting the validation coming from outside all the time. Look up that woman, the holistic psychologist. She's on here. I'm going to link it on the bottom. I forgot to do that. Just watch some of her videos. She's pretty amazing. Shaheen Nazar. So I'm asking them about you accessing the Akashic records. I know what I think, what I feel about it, and how I do it, and all of that. But they said you're actually already doing it. It's just that you have this obscure idea of what it is and how to get there, and that it's got to experience it a certain way, and you have to do, you have to sit right and have all the like meditation right and do all that. And they're like sort of like you're overcomplicating it, and you're already doing it. So just relax about it. So, or like what you're supposed to experience and the idea what it's supposed to be like. Basically, anytime I do a reading, I'm accessing the Akashic record. All the Akashic record is essentially the spiritual Google, not Google. It's just there. It's not a certain space. You don't have to do a certain thing. You can access it from your phone. You can access it from your computer. You can get it from your TV. Like it doesn't matter, right? If you have a smart TV, which most of us do, right? So it's sort of this idea of like when we have an idea that something has to be a certain way or the experience has to be a certain way, it overcomplicates it, right? So set the intention, take a nice couple deep breaths, close your eyes, chat with your guides. They'll hear you even if you don't know that you're talking to them or you don't get the feedback. And just say, my intention is to receive energy, receive information, to be a part of it, and don't have like have a specific question, and whatever response or feeling or whatever you get from it, just write it down. Just write it down and don't go big the first time. Don't expect to get, a novel's worth of information the first time you walk in the door. Just get a little bit and then ask that you get some sort of validation in life that will validate this information that you're asking for, so that then the next time how it feels, what it's like, and it's the same thing each time. And then the more familiar you get with that feeling, the easier it is to drop in, then the more information you can get and the more time you can spend there. That's what I get. Micah Mystery, when I can travel and study the medical, I have been weeding too much. Have you thought about doing medical school in the Caribbean, Micah? Welcome, marijuana community. You're welcome, Shaheen. Shoot, I just forgot the name. Micah Mystery, was that it? I just keep doing school in the Caribbean, and I feel like it might not be till like March of 2022 or like some offset of that, like being like just not starting in the fall, but starting in the winter or spring session, however that works. Sorry for cracking my knuckles. And it feels like because I'm like 2021 and it feels like no too soon 2022. And there's a reason behind, besides the fact that we're in a pandemic, there's a reason behind needing to stretch it out to then. And it just feels like it's the right timing for you. Like a mystery. I think that's what I said. Shit. Oh, you guys, there's a lot of people here for mediumship tonight. I don't know that I can, because I've been on for an hour and 26 minutes. It just takes so long. If you're here for mediumship, I do try to get to you, but sometimes I do have to push you off a little bit. If you really, really want to connect, hit me up for a private reading. I have the link below. It allows us the time to really kind of, for me to connect in and sort of do, because your guides are like this. And with them, I'm like, I want to make sure I'm connecting with the right person. So it's like, and they're not used to communicating as easily. And I'm very sorry because I know anniversaries of passings are really rough and holidays are really rough. So, I might have missed a couple around the 8:34 mark or KK. Juliet Rogers, I've had an operation to replace my ankle. Will I be able to walk around without a limp, without pain? Yeah, but it feels like 6 months out is a big change, and then 9 months, and then like a year. Like, so it feels like having those like big things. So by 6 months, I feel like I still feel like I have a slight limp. I don't feel the pain with it. I just feel like tightness in the muscle and the joint. So it feels like I need a lot of physical therapy, and make sure you're really doing your, like the exercises at home that they have you do, like make sure you're on top of doing them and really like working besides just the sessions that you do. So if those 6 months still feels kind of tight or whatever, by 9 months, I feel like I'm able to walk without a limp. And feels like much more comfortable. And by 12, I feel like pretty good. There's still may some fatigue about a year out. This Nye, may I ask friend Joa will think of me in person when he moves to my city? I think he'll like you, but I kind of wonder if you'll like Joa. It's sort of maybe it's like Joa's a bit about Joa. A little bit tends to lean towards being a little bit more selfish. So it's sort of like that awakening of like, I don't know if I really like this person. Clarissa, can I tell you if Ernest is going to tell you how he feels about you? Wait. Can you tell me if Ernest going to tell me how he feels about me? If he asks, wait, if you ask him? Oh, gotcha. Can you I see? Can you tell me if Ernest is going to tell me how he feels about me if he asks you out? Not as quickly as you'd like. Because I said, you need to slow your roll. So it feels like slow down and like not wait. Don't expect that relationship right away. Like, oh, we went out and like, it's like, feels like just slow down and like, what do they say? Don't put the carriage before the horses. Like, butterfly. I heard very first thing I heard is things are coming along nicely. So it feels like I've been really working on healing, and I've been really working on sort of like building my own spiritual connections and my own intuition. And it just feels like needing that pat on the back to know that the universe is connecting and hearing the things that you're doing. And if you're doing manifestation, I heard the seed dropped. So it's sort of that idea that you have this vision, and then you drop it and like let it go, and it starts to manifest on its own, like you planted it. So it feels like it dropped, like you're good. You don't need to worry if it worked, if it happened, that it's going fine. I'm so afraid to scroll. AP, does Manuel think about you? Does he watch you on social media? I don't feel like he watches you, like not that stalker feeling. I honestly don't feel it. Like I feel like I check it sometimes, but I'm not really like looking at you. And this goes back to the idea that if a guy likes you and he wants to be with you, he lets you know. He puts the work in and puts the time in. Hang on. KK just emailed me. Oh, screenshots. God love you. If you want to schedule a reading, just so you know, I don't know, I've got like purchase one first, and I will. Oh, you're an angel. I did Shaheen. I did Micah Mystery. Okay. Maybe I didn't miss any. Perfect. Okay. What was I saying? They let you know. They just do. It's really like the ones that are playing games are playing games. And when you question it and you're not sure, I'm telling you, that's not the psychic stuff. This is just the friend part, saying like, hello, Damien. If you're still here, you're probably not. So I feel like Peaceful Mountain, I feel like the bird may come back, but it feels like I'm getting the number 6. So I don't know if it's like 6 months down the road or 6 pets down the road, but it feels like down the road a ways, like feeling like you'll have this connection with this. And I don't know that it'll come back as a bird because I keep being shown like a little gecko or lizard or something else like that. So I'm going to leave you with that one. Man, when we have fur babies and feather babies and all of that, there is quite a lovely connection that can happen with them, and it's very hard to say goodbye to them. Amy Fleming, what's the best career path for you? I'm hearing creative arts, so I don't know. That can be a whole host of things, but it feels like being creative, being something down that path. So like not medicine, not law, but I hear creative arts. Liz C., you're finally up. They said, keep holding on to the flame. Don't let it burn out. So it's like, keep holding on to your dream. You think about like someone carrying a flame, keep holding on to your dream and don't let it burn out just because things aren't panning out exactly the way you wanted to. It says, just keep that vision alive within you It feels very important to do that. Autumn, what's your future job? I actually feel you maybe working for a nonprofit because I heard like running for the cure or something like that. So I'm like, what? And it feels like working for a nonprofit to help with, organizing fundraisers and things like that. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I'm going to go with what I heard. Am. What will your future husband be like? What will your relationship be like? I'm going to look at yours in just a second, and I'm going to look at Race Beef. Says, can you ask my guides if BioPure cilantro will help you with pin and needle feeling? Yes, but I feel like not significantly to where you would be like, this is it. Have you looked into doing like a parasite and yeast overgrowth cleanse? Like, is that something that because it seems like you're in the herbs and stuff. Like if you, talk to your doctor and all that, I don't know if my hair is going crazy. Because it feels like having leaky gut syndrome. Hi, Anna. This is for Anna. I'm coming back to you, Am. I know you want to do future husband, what your marriage is going to look like. I just want to like run through some of these that are a little bit quicker because we're at an hour and 40 minutes. Anna, I feel like, yes, your conversation will go well. Jennifer. Jennifer, I do feel like it will get better. And I don't know if it's that he sort of comes to some kind of realization and is okay with getting therapy and like kind of working on himself, or if someone talks to him while he's away, that maybe he has depression and needs to be on some medications, but it feels like him kind of like working on him in this period. And so it sort of gets better, but it also like feels like on your part, sort of coming to some own understandings and realizations of your own. And like maybe the expectations kind of change too. Okay, Am future husband. He said he's going to be great. It's going to stick together, but that it's going to take a lot of work, especially in the communication department. Like I feel financially, you guys are going to be on the same, like budget minded type thing. Like it's going to be okay. Like, a lot of people, they say like fight about finances or whatever, but I feel like communication is going to be an issue. And it sort of feels like, like on your part, not being great with confrontation and not wanting to rock the boat and worried that like that fear of abandonment type thing where you worry that someone's gonna, oh, what if he doesn't like me if I say this kind of thing? And then he will tend to internalize a little bit. So that's where your struggle is going to be. Julie Owens, any messages from your guides? I just keep saying, keep running, keep going with the flow, keep doing what you're doing. Don't stop. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. So it's like that idea, if you set a goal, you're intended, and like not to get worn out at the very end because you can't fully see the finish line. Like just keep going with your goal, keep doing what you're doing, keep persisting. I don't know if that makes any sense. I probably say that with every single reading. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what I'm hearing. You're welcome, ma'am. You do have bacteria problems. So that's probably what I'm getting with the leaky gut, race B, is that's sort of what it feels like is the issue. It does make sense. Okay, perfect. Good. You're welcome, Peaceful Mountain. You're welcome, Butterfly. Lisa Thurlow. You're having a lot of issues regarding a new client and prospect. Any guidance and help would be great. I'm feeling anxious and out of my comfort zone. Thanks. The very first thing that comes to mind with me is like being okay with being like, this is how I run my business. And if you don't like it, I'm really sorry. But like when you start setting the boundary, and you can be really nice about it, you don't have to say like too bad, but like, this is how I run my business. This is how I do things. This is what you came to me for. This is why you're getting help from me. And sort of just showing them and say like, this is all about, this is what it's about. It's just somebody who's not really used to having boundaries set. So that's where like it's sort of triggering your own boundary stuff. So I think that's the feeling I get right away, Lisa, with that. Does Tim have feelings for you? Yes, but I don't know how long term they're going to be. Damien, I don't think I have an accident. Why am I here? Am I supposed to be hearing something? So the biggest thing that I get is learning to trust your intuition more. Like you are really, really, really wonderful about like following your goals and your guide, like that call to do something. But I feel like there's a lot of outside voices right now, and they're like telling me you have to do it this way, you have to do it that way, and you're sort of going like, no, like it has to be like, I don't know why. And it's sort of like just really learning to trust your intuition and getting pulled into your spiritual side more, and like trusting that a little bit more, even if it doesn't fully make sense to the experts that you've surrounded yourself with. And maybe it even means kind of saying like, I know this is crazy, but would you be willing to humor me and do it this way? I think that's what I'm getting for you, Damien. Nice to see you, Isha. And then I'm going to come back and kind of look. I did AMs. I'm going to come back and look and see if I can connect in with anybody. I'm in an hour and 45, though. I'm pretty tired. Isha. Does Akshay still love me? I feel like, so it feels like yes, because it's not like love just stops, but it's the feeling of like it's more complicated than that. And it feels like not sure that I can see a future here. If I'm sitting in Akshay, is that how you say it? Sorry. Akshay. If I'm sitting in Akshay's energy, it's like, I don't know if I see a future here. It's the feeling of like not sure if I have, it's that uncertainty of making a full commitment because of my own baggage and background that I bring with me, and that fear of what marriage looks like, and trust issues and being let down. I wish it was an easy answer. Yeah. You're welcome. Okay. Did Carolyn ever answer the red hair thing? Is Carolyn still here? You're welcome, Damien. I can't believe you're still here. Thank you for staying. KK, did you ever see if Carolyn... You missed it, Clarissa. You can just go back and watch it. I type your name when I answer it. Let me see if I can figure out where it would be around the... I answered it around 10:01, so that's going to be around about the hour and a half mark for you. Lauren Jane, yes. Answer a non-medium question. That's totally fine. If you're still here. She had blonde, reddish hair. No, this is for Carolyn. Oh, that Carolyn is your... Oh, okay. Yay. Okay, good. Sorry. I just read my note wrong. Let's see if we can meet Carolyn. Cool kid, lovable. Do you know who I keep seeing? I don't know if you guys watch The Real Housewives of New Jersey. Hi, Angel Wings. I'm not taking any new questions tonight, but if you watch the Housewives of New Jersey, there's that Carolyn Manzo woman, and that's who I keep seeing. But it's not like all the drama or whatever. It's just that feeling of being like the matriarch, being like, you don't mess with my family. That the way she portrays the Italian thing. Does that make any sense to you? Cool kid's lovable. Does that make sense with her personality? And oh, was this the one where I said the respiratory stuff? Yeah, I said that. I thought I got either a respiratory heart or breast issues. Pardon my yawn. Ugh. And then I'm going to have to call it a night. Lauren Jane, if you're still here, you want to pop in one more question, but then I think I'm going to kind of bow out because I'm getting really tired. No. Would she have had a difficulty breathing at the end? Because I felt very tight in my chest. Lung cancer. Lung, heart, breast. Yes, that's why I couldn't breathe. Ding, ding, ding. Okay. So that makes sense. When I said I felt tight in my chest, I couldn't breathe. Okay, there we go. Respiratory issues. Lung cancer. Did she also have blue eyes? Because I just feel these blue sparkly eyes, and I feel like I'm fine. And she's taking clothes off. She's like, ugh, it's so hot. So I feel like there was temperature control issues during this period too. Just never, which sounds backwards because oftentimes when someone's going through chemo, they're and all of that stuff, they get really, really cold, and because they just lose weight, and then they're not able to keep the body heat warm, but it feels different. She's fine. She's okay. And it's the feeling of you did everything all right. You made all the right decisions. I no regrets, no guilt. You did everything really great. And she still feels like I'm taking care of the family from this side too. I can do it from there too. There's like no issues. She was always hot, so taking her clothes off. Okay, that's just a validation that I'm connecting in with her. And she's very proud of you. I feel like you need to know she's very proud of you. Oh, thank you, Clarissa. Did she see stuff at the end? Because I feel like my whole shot, like I feel like my aura, everything kind of expanding. I hit the lamp there. Expanding like my whole crown chakra. Like it's a feeling of like being able to see more and opening up at the end. And I feel like everybody thought that I wasn't making sense and things were garbled, or I was like sounding like I was crazy and didn't understand that I was really connecting in with spirit and seeing things from a different perspective. So everybody thought I was losing my mind, but I wasn't. I was talking about things on a bigger perspective. Does that make sense, cool kid? Okay. She's giving you a kiss. I'm just saying this now. She's giving you a kiss and a hug, and she's saying she's like, you need to get some sleep. So I feel like you haven't been sleeping well, and you really need to rest and relax a little bit. And I need some sleep too. So I hope I can leave you with this. I hope you're okay with that. Good night, everybody. Have a lovely week. Good morning if you're somewhere else in the world. I want to try and do another spiritual chat because I've kind of got like all these things rolling around my head, and clearly there is no time to do it on the beginning of these episodes. So you guys have a lovely, lovely week. Enjoy. Thank you for joining me. Like, subscribe, tell your friends about me, get a private reading. I love doing private readings, and we'll see you next week, the same time. Good night. KK, I love you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.